You know that little box on your wall, the thermostat? We walk up, punch in a number, and then, almost like magic, the whole room gets warmer or cooler. But what's really happening behind that simple little screen? Well, that simple act kicks off this amazing process of sensing and control. So let's uncover the science behind it.
So seriously, how does that little box know what the temperature is? It feels like it just knows. But of course, it's not magic. It's actually a really clever blend of physics and engineering. In this explainer, we're going to peel back the cover and see exactly what makes it all tick. Okay, so to really get how it works, we have to start with its most basic job. Before it can even sense the temperature, its main role is to be, well, the commander-in-chief of your home's entire climate system. At its heart, a thermostat is basically the brain of the whole operation. Its job is this simple, but constant three-step loop. First, it measures the temperature right now. Second, it compares that to the number you set. And third, it tells your heating or AC system what to do to close that gap. This cycle just goes on, and it's the key to keeping you comfortable without wasting a ton of energy. But hold on, to measure temperature, what is it even measuring? I mean, what is temperature? Well, if you could zoom way, way down to the molecular level, it's all about motion. It's just how fast atoms are vibrating. The hotter it is, the crazier they're jiggling around. Cooler, they start to chill out. A thermostat's whole job really is to somehow translate this invisible dance into a number it can actually use. Okay, but the way thermostats do this translation, well, that has changed a lot over the years. It's a really cool journey, actually. From these clever old-school mechanical tricks to the super sophisticated electronics we have today. Let's check that out. So, you can basically split thermostats into two big camps. You've got your old-school mechanical ones, which are honestly brilliant in their simplicity. And then you have the modern electronic ones, packed with microchips and sensors. Looking at both really shows you just how far this tech has come. So, the magic inside those old round thermostats? It all comes down to this incredibly clever device, the bimetallic strip. Just picture this. You take two different types of metal, say steel and brass, and you bond them together into one strip. Now here's the trick. As things heat up, one metal expands faster than the other. This forces the whole strip to physically bend or curl. And that bending action is what literally flips a switch and tells your furnace to turn on or off. It's pure physics in action. No batteries, no power, just genius. All right, now let's jump to the modern era. Forget bending metal. Today's electronic thermostats use something called a thermistor. It's basically a special type of resistor. But instead of always having the same electrical resistance, a thermistor's resistance changes in a really predictable way depending on how hot or cold it is. This little guy is the heart and soul of pretty much every digital thermostat out there. So how does the thermistor actually work? Well, most thermostats use what's called an NTC thermistor. Now that sounds complicated, but all it means is negative temperature coefficient, and that just means as the temperature goes up, its electrical resistance goes down. So there's a tiny microchip inside the thermostat that's constantly checking this resistance. It knows exactly what resistance level corresponds to what temperature, so it can calculate the room's temperature with incredible precision. No moving parts at all, just the flow of electrons. And that is a perfect example of the huge leap in technology we're talking about. A modern digital thermostat can be insanely precise. We're talking accurate to within half a degree Celsius. That level of precision means your home's temperature is way more stable, which feels more comfortable and, of course, is way more energy efficient than those old mechanical systems. Okay, so now our thermostat has a super accurate temperature reading. What now? Well, the next step is to actually do something with that information. This is where it really puts on its thinking cap and acts like a brain. The whole thing works on what engineers call a closed-loop control system. Really, it's just a never-ending cycle. It measures the temperature, it compares that measurement to the temperature you want, it decides on or off, and then it sends the signal. And then, once the room gets warmer or cooler, it measures the new temperature, and the whole loop starts all over again. It is constantly monitoring 24/7. Now, you might be thinking, if it's so precise, wouldn't it be turning on and off constantly? Like the second the temperature wobbles by 1/10 of a degree, that would drive you crazy, and it would totally wreck your furnace. So to prevent that, thermostats use a really clever trick called hysteresis. So here's how it works. Let's say you set your heat to 22 degrees. Instead of turning on the second it hits 21.9, the system might wait until it drops a little lower, maybe to 21. Then it'll run until it actually overshoots your target a little, say up to 23. This little buffer zone is what stops your system from constantly clicking on and off. It's a small thing, but it's absolutely crucial for the health of your HVAC system.
But, the story doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. Because modern smart thermostats have gone way beyond just reading the temperature. They've basically become these complex data hubs for your entire home.
I mean, a modern smart thermostat is just jam-packed with sensors. It's not just temperature anymore. It's measuring humidity, because that changes how the air feels. It's got motion detectors to see if you're even home. It's connected to Wi-Fi to check the weather forecast. And it's even using AI algorithms to learn your habits. It's not just sensing temperature anymore. In a way, it's sensing your life.
And this is a really fundamental shift. That's the key phrase here. They don't just measure anymore, they adapt. They've gone from being these dumb, reactive devices that just wait for the temperature to drop to being proactive. They're learning your schedule, adjusting on their own to save energy, and even getting the house ready for when you get home from work. And what's crazy is that this core technology isn't just on your living room wall. It is absolutely everywhere. It's a silent hero in your fridge, your oven. It's what makes your car's climate control work so well. It's even mission critical in huge data centers that need perfect cooling. The thermostat is honestly one of the most common and most important pieces of tech in our modern world.
So really, the story of the thermostat is a journey from a simple mechanical switch to an intelligent, predictive energy manager. That little box on the wall has truly become the smart heart of your home. And all this progress leaves us with a pretty fascinating question for the future, right? We're moving away from a home that just responds to us and into a home that actually anticipates what we need. So what's it going to feel like when our own environment knows what we want, maybe even before we do?